so low, so low. Didn't know which way I should go. I was lonely, I was out of friends. Dead ends, dead ends. Couldn't bring myself to pretend, but in my darkest night, a breakthrough. Heard you call my name, now I'm facing you. Something falls from the sky, suddenly I'm awake. I'm alive, I'm aware, there's a chance I gotta take. Something falls from the sky as it cuts through the night. Power lifts me higher, gonna be dancing in the light. Scared to dream about the person I could be. Without the chains surrounding me, now you've shown me what lies behind the door, the door. See me crying out for more, 'cause in my darkest night, a breakthrough. Heard you call my name and now I'm facing you. Something falls from the sky, suddenly I'm awake. I'm alive, I'm aware, there's a chance I gotta take. Something falls from the sky as it cuts through the night. Power lifts me higher, gonna be dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. They don't believe, they say I'm out my mind. 'Cause I got something there all night to find, to find. I was down on everything, was wrong, so wrong. Turn to see your face and now I am reborn. Something falls from the sky, suddenly I'm awake. I'm alive, I'm aware, there's a chance I gotta take. Something falls from the sky as it cuts through the night. Power lifts me higher, gonna be dancing in the light. Something falls from the sky, suddenly I'm awake. I'm alive, I'm aware, there's a chance I gotta take. Something falls from the sky as it cuts through the night. Power lifts me higher, gonna be dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. Dancing in the light. Dancing in the light.
Well, there you go. There's Yvonne Lyon and Fierce Planet with Dancing in the Light, and you can find out more about that at fierceplanet.co.uk. Good afternoon. It's Friday lunchtime, 1 p.m. Friday, Emma. My favourite time in the week.
Yes, I really enjoy it as well. Yeah, I look forward to this every week. It was always a little bit of a stress before we get started, but it's great to be here.
Yes, indeed, and thank you very much for joining us. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter, and we're here to get your live chat as well. So if you've anything that you'd like to ask us about smartphone video production, then just pop your message through the live chat and we will see it straight away. What we're doing today is talking specially about hyper short video content. So you've got things like Instagram Reels, you've got TikTok, I think Snapchat does a hyper short video format as well. And the exciting news this week is that YouTube, Emma, have really ramped up their forthcoming short platform, which is in beta testing at the moment. So you might have seen some of this. It's called YouTube Shorts. I know you've been using Instagram Reels for a while, but when we look at Instagram YouTube Shorts, do you like the look of it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks very much like TikTok and Instagram Reels when you see the screenshots of how you would make a video, the types of video content they're making. It looks to me like it's just going to be 15-second videos. I don't know whether that's just to differentiate themselves from the other platforms or what the thinking is there. But, you know, TikTok you can do up to 60 seconds, Reels is up to 30. YouTube Shorts is just going to be 15-second clips.
Yes, but I think you'll be able to stitch them together, which I think is actually how TikTok works as well.
Of course,
so
that's just the way they explain it. That's right, that's how they explain it. But you could probably do up to 60 seconds. Although in Reels, you can only do up to 30 seconds, although you can stitch it together.
Yeah, and I think with YouTube, it looks like they're taking this quite seriously, quite an aggressive push. And they're going to be, the way that it's monetized is slightly different as well. So I think that YouTube seems to be suggesting that it might be easier for the creators and the influencers that are good at this, people that are interested in creating that really vivid content, that they'll reward the most popular ones, that they'll make more money maybe than they would have if they were using something like TikTok or Instagram. So it's going to be, they've set aside $100 million to pay out to creators over the next 12 months. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with YouTube Shorts. Now, Emma, most of our audience, of course, are small business owners, marketing teams, or they're communications professionals. They're working for our clients, utilities companies, government agencies, charities, that sort of thing. So what we thought we'd look at today is, well, first of all, because many of our clients aren't using Reels and TikTok, they're not using hyper short form video content. So we want to give them an overview of how it all works. And then maybe we'll start to look at actually what they could do with it and the sorts of videos that they might make. So maybe just to kick us off, can you give us an overview? And I think Reels is probably the most accessible one for people who haven't seen it and don't know what to do. Can you just take us through it?
Yeah, we're going to look at Reels because I imagine most organisations have some sort of presence on Instagram already, so it's not too big a jump for people. And Instagram are also really pushing Reels at the moment. So Reels is, as I've said already, between 15 to 30 second video content, very like TikTok. You can create the content inside Reels. We'll look at that in a minute. Or you can create the content elsewhere and import it, just like stories. And then there's also the same kind of editor and effects and tools inside Reels as you might have found in stories.
Well, that was one of the things that always threw me at the start, is I was never sure, because I've never done an Instagram Reel. I wasn't sure if you could only make the video in Reels, or if you could just shoot a clip on your phone like you normally do, and then somehow get it onto Reels, and then I didn't know what you did with it after that.
Yeah, it is confusing when you approach it at first, but you can shoot it on your camera normally. Then you could just bring it directly into Reels, just as you would for a post, or you could edit it somewhere else and bring it onto your phone and then put it onto Reels, as long as you're aware that Reels is portrait and that it's maximum 30 seconds. And if you've edited it to suit that format, then you could have edited it on your desktop for all Reels cares, as long as you can get it onto your phone and then get it into Reels.
But I'm guessing that Instagram would rather that you use their platform all the time. I mean, that's what they've built it for. They've built it with that in mind. You pick up your camera, your phone, you open Reels, you create some content, and you do it all within Instagram's app. Yeah. Now, obviously, some of our clients are going to have stuff that they've made elsewhere, so they might have a different workflow. But can you take us through the process of just using your smartphone, starting from scratch, how you might go about creating a Reel?
Yeah. Okay. So I'll show you here. This is I've just switched over to my own personal account. I'll show you as well in the Comsteria account, and reason being that it's one thing to think about before you kind of embark on Reels. One of the big kind of advantages is that you can use the music tracks, the licensed tracks that are already there. But if you've got a business account, you don't have access to quite the same amount. It's more kind of unknown music that you'll have access to there. Whereas if you're on your own personal account, then you'll be able to get Dua Lipa or whatever else. But everything else is pretty much the same. I'm
just having palpitations here looking at our YouTube URL. For a minute there, I thought it was Bobby. I thought it was / but it's not. It's Obi. We need to change that. We need to get a.
Can you customize it? Yeah?
Yes, you can. I'll sort that out. Good grief!
It looks a bit rubbish. Yeah. So this is ours. Sorry. No, I'm going to flip over to this is mine.
Right.
Having explained that. So when you go to your own page.
So what you're saying here then, just to get this straight, because this is important, is if you have a business Instagram channel, if Instagram if it's been set up as a business Instagram account, then that restricts the number of tracks you can use, the music.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look back at my phone, this was Comsteria page, and I've been just kind of testing it out the last few weeks and posting everything on the business page and on my personal page and kind of seeing what the difference is. And this was the very first clip that I did, which was just side by side comparing the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 10 and the difference in the quality. And on the business account, I've got this kind of unknown track. It's a really nice track. But on the personal account, I was able to use one of the trending tracks.
Right.
That gets it.
It gets it more views, doesn't it?
It gets it more views, basically. It gets it in front of more people if you use a trending track.
So basically, Instagram hasn't licensed hit music for business use. And can you pay for it and get it, or you just can't get it?
You just can't get it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So maybe they'll get that one day, but for the moment, if you set your account up as a business Instagram account, then you're greatly restricted. You can't use any trending pop songs.
So, I mean, if you're a small business, you maybe can think about, you post some content on the business page and some content yourself on your personal page, and then try and tag your business in and drive people over. If you're a bigger organisation, then perhaps doesn't matter quite so much. You still get really good reach on Instagram without the music tracks, and it's not the only feature that's worth looking at. And for example, these videos that I've created, this little series about how to appear natural on camera, nearly 9,000 views on one of them for an account that doesn't get used an awful lot. There's no music on that at all. There's absolutely no music track. That's just organic reach, and it's one of the best places at the moment to get organic reach.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the
business.
exciting thing is that these views, by our standards, compared to other bits of content that we put out, I mean, 1,500 plays, 3,000 plays, 8,500. These are really good numbers for us.
Yeah, and it's also it's new followers for us as well, in some of it, and compared to the kind of more static content on your main post page, and that's because Instagram Reels, when you share it, you can choose to share it just to Reels, or you can toggle on the option to share to the feed as well. And I would always say share to the feed. So Instagram's kind of moving away from this need to have this perfectly curated, beautiful looking feed where everything looks nice. It's much more about, Reels. And so all of that showed up in the Reels of people who followed us, the feed of people who followed us, but also when people are just scrolling through Reels, which they do by just tapping on the center here, it will show up just to random people who have never come across us before. And I think where you get the reach. I
think the exciting thing for a lot of people is that when they start looking at Reels, they move straight away from static pictures to pictures where there's movement. And that's always going to be much more interesting. We're going to be drawn to that. Seems to be where Instagram and social media in general is going. It's moving pictures of something happening. And I think that's where all our content needs to start going. So, Emma, you showed us one there about you compared the two different camera phones and which one was the best. How did you make that? Because you had the two things side by side there. How would you go about creating that stuff?
So I didn't create this one in Reels. I'll show you in just a minute about how to do it in Reels. But because I already create lots of videos on video editors, I just did this, I think probably on VN or LumaFusion or something like that, where I just stood in the kitchen and put both my phones side by side and turned around, did a slow pan.
And you can see some of our previous programs. If you want to know more about LumaFusion and the VN app, if you watch some of our previous smartphone video shows, you can see how to produce videos using them.
Yeah, and you can create portrait videos in these apps. And again, because Reels isn't my big... And this was just drone footage, which is 4K landscape, 16 by 19. And I took it into maybe Final Cut Pro and just made a portrait project and cropped right in on it. But because it's 4K, it still looks really good. And
a big shout, Alan Kelly Projects, for the drone footage. Thanks, Alan.
And these ones, again, I created these ones in VN app, or just on my normal camera, camera, recorded it there, then edited it in VN because that's what I've been used to. But you can just create everything inside the Instagram editor, the Reels editor, and I'll show you that right now. You go to your homepage or wherever you are and press the plus, just like you would if you're going to do a post. Press plus and you can choose Reel. And it pops up and it looks a little bit like Instagram stories. I'll just flip round to the selfie camera.
There you are.
There I am. And you've got a lot of the things that you've got in stories, but you'll see if you're used to stories, you've got a few extras. First of all, you've got the music. So you tap on music and you can go here and find whatever tracks that you want. And this is the business account. So there's not as many. I don't know if I've got saved. I don't have anything saved there because on my personal account, I've got Dua Lipa and all these kind of up-to-date tracks saved. But, you pick the one that you want, listen to them, and it takes you to the track. And usually if it is a trending track, it will just clip out the 30 seconds or 15 seconds that's most popular.
Right, so the hook. So it already knows what the hook is because it knows what everyone else is using.
Exactly,
so it gives
knows
you that
what everyone's using. So there's certain tracks that have certain lyrics in them that are going to be linked to the message of your video, so it will take you right to that. And that's what people are using. But you don't have to stick with that. You can slide it to any point in the track. And if it's If it's a popular track, you see the lyrics popping up as well. So you see the lyrics of the song, and you can find exactly the point in the song that you want. So you select that, and you can see now I've got that music track on the top, the kind of sidebar on the left there. That's there. I can change it.
Right, so that wee thumbnail above the 30-second thing,
there,
that's her,
above
right,
30
okay.
seconds.
So that's you loaded in that song.
Yeah.
Right, that section of it.
Exactly. And then I can decide to record. Now, let's say I'm just doing a piece to camera, just a really simple bit for starting off. You probably wouldn't start with the music track at that point. You'd start with your message. But let's say you want to talk for 30 seconds and you don't want to miss your mark. So right down at the bottom of this left-hand toolbar, underneath the magic wand, there's a little icon for timing. And you can decide, we're doing a 30-second video here. I've got 30 seconds worth to say. Set the timer. And now when I come to record, you just record by pressing the big button at the bottom. It counts you in, and then you can start to deliver your message as you would talk away. Now, if you make a mistake, if you don't get through it all in that 30 seconds, you might want to cancel and go back to the beginning. But maybe you get through the first 10 seconds and then stop. Gather your thoughts, have a little think about it. The same counter will keep going.
So you stop just by tapping that button again?
Tap the button, just
right.
press record.
So you could move location. Someone else could come into the shot here. There's all sorts you could do. Right, so when they see people jumping out the frame and other people come in, this is how they've done that.
Yeah, and so you can see the pink bar up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. That's because I've set the timer for 30 seconds. You could just go freeform and, film a whole minute and then cut it down to 30 seconds. But this way kind of disciplines you, I suppose. And you, as you say, you could move location and just have a slightly different background or even just a different angle.
Yeah.
Is enough to change the interest for people. And once you've recorded, it doesn't have to be the full 30 seconds. Once you've recorded it, you see that you've got all the sections there.
Mm-hmm. So the bars at the top, the
bars
red
at the
bars,
top.
right, with the split between
The
them all.
bars right at the top, in the pink, and it's split with the white lines.
Mm-hmm.
You can go down at the bottom beside your record button, which is the big white button. There's a left arrow, and you can see my face on it.
Yep.
That's going to take you to the project now, the 4 different clips that I've just recorded. And it's like your timeline if you've used a video editor before. And now I can just go to my first clip, play it back, and decide that I need to trim just a little bit off the start and a little bit off the end.
If somebody's just tuned in, on the right-hand side of the screen, you're seeing pre-recorded video that Emma's making
That's
on Reels.
confusing,
The
isn't
left-hand side is Emma now, the right-hand side. So you're running through these clips and you're editing, you're fine-tuning them a little bit,
Exactly.
tightening them up.
Fine-tune it, and then up at the top right, you press trim. And you can come back, if you've made a mistake with your trim, you can come back to it and, you've not lost any of that footage. You've just made sure it's nice and tight in the edit. And you can go through and do exactly the same, just use your little scissors tool all the way through until you've got it perfect. So, if you
do that for each clip.
You can do that. You do that for each clip, exactly. And if there's one clip where you just completely messed up, you can just put it in the bin, highlight it by tapping on it, and then press the bin icon, and you'll get rid of that clip. And then it all comes together for you. Here, if you want to add effect, we'll maybe look at effects in a minute, but let's say we're just sticking with that simple video. I'm going to talk to camera, deliver that message. The next step would be the right arrow.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to give you a breather because you're showing us a hell of a lot here.
Okay.
So basically what Instagram Reels allows you to do is you click the button and you tell it, look, just shoot 30 seconds worth of video. You start making your video, and if you need to stop, you can stop, and obviously that will then subdivide your 30 seconds into multiple clips.
Yes.
Then you go into each clip and you use the editor that's built in there, and you start tightening them up. And I assume as well you could move the order around a little bit as well.
Yeah.
You can swap them in and out.
Just touch and
You've got your music in there. You've got your music in there
That's a
too.
good point. You
I'm
must be
sure
able
you
to.
can. Yeah. And then once you've got your clips set and you think, right, these are the bits I'm going to use, got them in the right order. Then what's next? So
what's next? We're going to just press the right-hand arrow at the bottom of the screen that's in the white box there. Tap on that. And that just starts to preview. It just shows you the whole clip. And this is going to be confusing for people again. But you'll be more familiar with this if you've used Instagram stories. Up at the top now, you've got some extra tools that you could start to add. Now, at that point, if that's all you want to do at the moment, I've recorded my message, but I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do with it. You could just download it. And save it to your camera roll without the audio, without the music track, because that's just within Instagram, and then come back to it later. But if you're wanting to use it now, you can do a music mix. So that was the second icon along, all the 3 sliders. So that can give you the audio mix. At the moment, my audio is at 0 because I've got a music track underneath it. But I can
So your audio is you speaking?
Is you? Yeah, that's me speaking. Right. I want to turn that, for this kind of video, all the way up to 100. And I want to turn my backing track probably quite low, down to about 20. And sometimes,
I haven't heard the song, obviously. Is Sheila Rivas any good?
I have absolutely no idea. Don't know? She was just top of the suggestions, but like I say, this is the business account, so chances are it's... Well, I have no idea.
You were going to say chances she's not very good. She could be a great emerging artist.
I'm sure she's brilliant. I'm sure she's wonderful. But it's that kind of more... it's not
an independent production.
That's the word I was looking for. So you can turn it down or even just turn it off. Or some advice from your top kind of TikTokers and Instagram reelers is, if you don't want any audio on it, it's just you speaking, still use a trending music track, but turn the music track all the way down, and that'll help you get a bit of reach.
The reach is going to go up because they think it's somebody famous singing on it. Yeah. Great. So that's amazing. It's got kind of like an audio mixer, quite basic, crude one, but so it lets you dip the volume of the music, turn yourself up, and on the final clip, and then you can download it as is. You could take that and put it on Twitter or keep it to yourself. You come back to it later or publish it right now. Yep.
And then there's other tools to add. We'll go all the way along to the right hand side, because probably the one you'd want to use the most is text. So you can add your text on here, just maybe highlighting the key points of what you were saying, or a little hook right at the start for that first clip. And I'll just put reels very quickly, and then just like in stories, you can change the colour. So up at the top, you've got a colour wheel. Or you can, the left hand side is changing your alignment. Then next along is the colour wheel, and you can choose your picker, slide along. There's lots of options.
You have a play around with the text. Yeah. So and I had something I was going to say and I've forgotten what it was. But so it gives you lots of options to play around with the text. And what I was going to say was that the way people consume a lot of this content now is you don't have the luxury of letting the thing start playing and them having a few seconds to decide if they like it. They're going to make an instant judgment about the video. So you can't give it 4 or 5 seconds introduction of you speaking. You need this text that Emma's adding on it right now to draw the viewer in, so that as soon as this thing loads, that they get that the text helps them commit to watching you. Even though it's maybe only 15, 30 seconds, they still need the context that text is providing to hook them in a little bit more. Yeah. And so we've got the video, we've got the music, and then we've got the text and the effects really all working together to get those precious few seconds of attention. And if you're thinking, well, God, this is like an art form all of itself, you'd be absolutely right. That's what this has become.
Yeah, exactly. And so the other great thing in Reels, it's same as in Instagram Stories, you've got access to all the stickers. So again, getting that movement in. You've got a new video, whatever it is you happen to be promoting, you'll probably find something for it that's an animated GIF that you can add on.
Wow, it just brings it to life.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
You move it wherever you want it on the screen, animate it, and then you can time these. You can time your text as well once it's on, which I won't go into now in this kind of live. But if you don't want that Instagram Reels title to be there for the whole duration, you can time it.
So it's bringing in animation now into it as well with these effects. And the issue, I think, for our clients and our potential clients is this is what you're competing against. There are teenage kids producing very, very good videos, and so if you've got a message to try and engage an audience, even if you're a big employer, your own staff can create this kind of content. And then if you try and get them on the employee app or on the internet and you're still doing this long form stuff where they have to read, they just not even look at it. And then even video content, you can see now hyper short is the way to go, but you can still pack a lot in between what you say, the music, the effects, and text that you might be adding. It's incredibly detailed and multi-layered, Emma.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that the text is animated, that could be captions of the full transcript that you're adding in there. it's grabbing attention, like you say, it's hooking people in right at the start. So you don't need to introduce your topic. You just get the title up there and then start talking.
Yeah,
Get
and
straight
it's
to
where
the main point.
these like effects that I think are on it at the moment. This is you where you can sell the benefits of whatever it is that you're trying to talk about or promote. Even in an internal comms environment, that could be the logo popping up, come to the Pensions Roadshow, and, if you hit your target, here's the prize for the sales team this month. There's so much you can do with it and turning it around so quickly. But it looks to me like, Emma, that to really get success with this, you need a bit of imagination.
Oh, definitely. It's a real creative tool. And certainly I always find in training, even, teaching people how to use the smartphone video editors, for an example, by the time people have got to the end of the training day or the training kind of session, they start to get very excited at that point about the possibilities. So I think it's a process where you start by just getting familiar with the tools. If Instagram Reels is something you want to learn, go and get familiar with the tools of Instagram Reels. Make little practice videos like this one, and then, download it on, you don't need to share it, just practice, download it and have a think about what you could do. There's a voiceover tool as well, like you get in most smartphone editors. So that could just be 5 3-second clips of, if you're a restaurant, for example, of the 5 steps of preparation for your meal that you're serving today, the specials that are on the menu, from the first step to the last step, and then a voiceover over the top. It doesn't even need a voiceover, to be honest. It
it's
just
a
needs the
different
text.
way of thinking, and it's breaking down what you do and what you're trying to say into bite-sized chunks. Wow, you've given us a lot, Emma, and if you want to know more about the training and consultancy that we do and Emma's courses, have a look at our website. It's comsteria.co.uk, or just add a comment or ask us a question through whatever platform you're watching just now. We're easy to get in touch with, comsteria.co.uk. Emma, before we go, maybe we could have a look at, I guess, what some other businesses and what some other individuals are doing with either Instagram Reels or TikTok or whatever. What can we learn from them in terms of different kinds of content, but all done through hyper short form video?
Yeah, I've got a few examples to share with you. Maybe start, because it was you that put me in touch with Dr. Julie Smith, the psychologist, first of all, so you can probably talk about some of her content. I'm just going to pull up her page so people can see it. But she's a psychologist, so she is an individual creator, but of course she's got products that she's promoting. And here's her reels, and she's a really great example of someone to go to get creative, because she's delivering really valuable information. That's why she's so popular, because she adds value to her audience. She's not doing, well, she sometimes does funny dances and lip syncing, but generally she's giving really valuable advice and content and learning for people.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
folk are hungry for that.
She knows the audience, and she's basically saying, look, is there a chance that TikTok users might be suffering from anxiety? Might they have some mental health concerns? Yes. And that's where she is. She's in exactly the right place for her audience and breaking it down. I mean, she doesn't, like, she uses the word psychologist in explaining who she is. But it's all, like, if we look at her feed again, it's like, how fast is your brain? Anxiety hacks using ice. It's not like, here's today's psychology lesson. She doesn't use the word mental health a lot either. She's made it very popular and accessible. And a lot of them are like, they're almost like little science experiments, some of the videos that she makes. So she's a great example of someone, a serious subject matter, but bringing it to life and doing it very well on TikTok. So that's a good one. Yeah. Who else can we look at?
Well, if we go back to some of my saved ones, a client of ours who has just started using Reels, because you mentioned, bigger organisations and energy companies and things. So this is Ferrovial, and if we just
that's a great one to show, because we get this all the time. We're an engineering company, we do construction, we can't use TikTok. It's just kids messing about. Yeah. Is this Reels?
So this is Reels. So that's
right.
if we slip over to the left, the feed's got lots of lovely pictures and a few nice videos, and they've really just started using Reels, as most people have. So there's just 3 at the moment. But the very first one on the right-hand side that you see was one of the bosses just talking about an event, encouraging people to sign up for it, some kind of internal event, and it's just him standing in the office, but you can see the use of text, and it's, I think, been put together the way that I've just demonstrated to you. Then this second one with the bridge is an engineer out in the field taking you behind the scenes. So he's he starts the video saying, here we are today, this is what we're doing, let's have a look. And then there's 3 short clips of the project underway. And that one there, this one here is a kind of time lapse.
Well, show us it.
Is that okay to show? So that's some drone footage they've got. Wow. And it's just this kind of thing is going to get them out to a wider audience. When you compare their likes on that's only the likes that you're seeing. I've got no idea how many views they've got. 278, but a company like Ferrovial on Instagram, on their
I think it shows you.
IGTV,
I think it shows you if you go back, you'll see how many views it has. If you just go back. First page.
6,000.
6,000. So I think people used to talk in business about the divide being, is it business to business or business to consumer? That's out the window now. Your accountant and the tax officials might see that division, but nobody else does. And then after that, it was, we're serious or we're important, rather than, we're fun and fluffy and we're instant smoothies. That's all gone now. The divide is, you're either a visual business or you're a non-visual business. Now, if you're like an engineering company and you do construction projects, great, the visuals come really easy. If you're a non-visual business, then what you need to do as soon as you possibly can is make yourself a visual business. Using graphics, using animation, whatever you need to do, make yourself a visual business, because if you don't, then you're missing out on this big time. And I know there are engineering and construction companies with their heads in the sand, while Ferrovial get the views, get the goodwill, get the best staff, get the clients. And that's the way that you need to be thinking now. You need to make yourself a visual business, and there's no excuse. And Emma, I'm sorry if that seems like a rant, but it's a pet passion
it's one of your strong points, doing a rant, so go for it.
Have a look at Ferrovial, Dr. Julie Smith as well. Give us one more before we head off.
Well, just when you said if your business isn't visual, this is a solicitor in Dublin, and also there's no excuse, age is no barrier, I think, to Reels. So this is a solicitor employment law that they do. So he's just been posting very regular. Look at this. Sitting at his desk, he's got a wee
16,000 views. Exactly. He's got
a tripod and on his desk, and he delivers 30-second messages about areas of employment law.
Good
and he's
him.
really helping people. The most recent one was one he just puts one caption up at the start, and it's this issue is really annoying the bejesus out of me, was one of his, because I got a message about it in my DMs, and it was to do with maternity law. Can I go for a promotion when I'm on maternity leave? People being badly treated, basically, and he's there to save them and help them.
And so Richard Grogan Solicitors on, was that Reels or TikTok?
That's Reels.
So, and again, the fact that he's in Dublin is of probably less consequence than it ever has been at any point in history. So that's why he's there. He's picking up new clients. People get the chance to get to know him. They decide, once I get to know him, it's easy for me then to decide that I like him. And so when my business needs employment law help, who am I going to call? I'll go and I'll speak to him, because he's in my feed every day. And the thing I love about that, and I know you've seen the clips, but I haven't, is that he's not being somebody that he's not, right? He's still there, suit, tie, he's not doing the chicken dance and all that stuff. So he's being his authentic self, but in an accessible and approachable way. And 16,000 views for 30 seconds talking about what he's doing, what he knows.
About what he knows, what he's an expert in.
I'd take that.
The suit thing as well, he in a few videos, he answers DMs, he answers what people are asking him, and he said, I've had a few questions about why I wear a suit, and my answer to that is, well, why not? And so you get a sense of his personality, and it's someone that you trust.
That's it. Authenticity, trust. What he needs to work on is maybe a little bit of movement in there as well.
Absolutely.
That's the next level. That's the next level for Richard Grogan Solicitors. But great, good find. Emma, thank you very much. It's been a super busy show. If you've missed any of it, you can catch up at comsteria.co.uk. If you're interested in Emma's workshop, she's doing webinars all the time. She's got a video on demand course as well at comsteria.co.uk. There's podcasting stuff up there as well, and lots of media relations training and all things digital. So thank you very much for watching. What are we going to do now? Where are we going?
What have you got?
Got plans for Friday afternoon?
Well, what are we going to do? Well, a little bit of work and then school pick up.
All right. Well, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.